Welcome back here at the Rink Hockey Podcast. Today's episode, we are going to have some fun. We will start off with a couple of topics and then jump into a couple NHL related games that I'll explain later as we go through them. If you enjoy what you hear, like, subscribe, and share. It's free and greatly appreciated. You can follow the Rink on social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube for more Habs and hockey content. Don't forget to head over to my Instagram and enter for a chance to win a signed Slavkovsky jersey. You have till the 30th for that. I want to also thank once again our sponsor, Connected Room. Check out my bios for all those links and 50% off your subscription. Joining me today once again are my boys, Jordan and Donnie. How's it going tonight, guys? What you been up to?
Not
Pretty
much,
good.
man.
Enjoying life?
Yeah, keeping busy, like in the warmer weather right now, and starting to see all these potholes come out of the woodwork in
Yes.
Winnipeg, you know?
Fuck. I think all my tires are going to fall off by the end of this week. It's freaking brutal out there.
It's
Can't
really
keep the
bad.
car clean. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Windshield
gonna-
washer season.
We're going to start off with a couple NHL topics, boys, and then I'll explain some games I'm going to put you guys through later, and we'll see how at each other's throats you guys get. First one is going to be I chose it because it was just funny to me. McDavid calls the playoff race in the Pacific a pillow fight. Literally said a pillow fight. The three best teams in the West right now are all playing each other in the first two rounds, which is crappy, but first off, the Pacific Battle. Jordan, what do you think of those teams in there? Do you think any of those teams have a chance at even possibly? I know everyone has a chance to go into the Cup final, but on paper, do they really have a shot against those three big teams?
Yeah, they do. I mean, calling it a pillow fight is pretty funny. You got Anaheim in first right now, which is a little bit of a surprise that they're sitting in first, but you did expect them to at least compete for a playoff spot this year. And then you got two proven, veteran teams in Vegas and Edmonton. Yeah, they're not having good years. You can't rule Edmonton out. They've been to the Cup Finals the last 2 years. Like, you got to believe that when it really matters, they're going to turn it on. I'm never going to count against McDavid. And then Vegas has a good team too with Eichel there. They're getting the worst goaltending in the league so far this season, right? So
Yeah, Aiden Hill's garbage.
yeah. So it's just
honestly, he is like. I hate when people are like, "Oh, he's an elite goaltender." I'm like, no, he's not. He's the farthest thing from it, and it's starting to show this season, really.
he's a good backup goaltender, like a good 1B for a team,
like,
right? Like,
and like we talked about it in our previous podcast, Vegas didn't really do a heck of a lot, but they added like what's his name there from Calgary?
they did their moves early.
Anderson.
And
Yeah, Anderson.
hasn't
Thank
really
you.
paid off.
No, and
Yeah.
I can't remember what this. I don't know what the stat line is, but I remember like they were struggling against any team that was in a playoff position when they played them. A lot of their wins are coming from teams that are not in the playoffs, kind of thing. But
I
your
also-
guys, go ahead, Johnny.
Sorry, I also think Aiden Hill just hasn't shown that he can be like a full workhorse goalie in the NHL. Like that year they won the Cup, I think he only started 27, around 30 games that year.
I think he showed that he can't be.
No, that's
right?
what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
I think his highest point total was last year, where he played, or game total. He played 50 games last year. He only has 22 games this year.
Yeah.
Like injuries are an issue, right? And since he's come back from injuries,
never
he's been
been
even
healthy
worse
yet.
than he was. Like he had that one magical Cup run where he kind of was pretty good for Vegas when they won the Cup that year, but
Mhm.
kind of a one-shot wonder in terms of anything else outside of that.
He had one good run.
Yeah,
you
and then
guys-
just on your point on Edmonton there, Jordan. I just feel this year is completely different with them, man. I know the talent, top end, you'll have Draisaitl back in the regular season or into the regular season here. Bouchard's
hope
having
so, yeah.
a quality year. Just the void in net and the disappointment that McDavid must have with taking that salary cut this year, trusting in the management, the executives of the Oilers to build a team around him, to really give this one last shot within the next few years for Edmonton to win a cup. They've completely failed in net. I get what they were trying to do with that Tristan Jarry trade. Skinner has drastically outperformed Jarry post-trade on the Penguins. You see where Pittsburgh is in the playoff race. Tristan Jarry, Connor Ingram, you put either of them in net, and I think when the going gets tough, both of them are going to fail.
I mean,
Yeah,
Ingram's
I
been
agree.
the way better goalie there, right? Like he's
Yeah.
been their starter.
Jarry
He's
has been terrible.
probably going to be their starter going into playoffs, and like that's a roll of the dice.
That was the
He's a
worst
big
move.
guy.
Like that was the worst move Edmonton did, and then they just put their hands in their pockets and said, "Oh well, I guess that's what we're running with." Like, why didn't you
Yeah.
try to improve it again?
Like
Like goaltending has been an issue the whole
understand.
time.
I understand what they were trying to do with that trade, with what was available in the market at the time. Like I totally understand the reasoning behind it, but it just hasn't worked out. And in the long run, you paid assets to get a goalie worse than the one you previously had. And Stuart
And he
Skinner
didn't
had
have
flashes in the past, right?
and he didn't have numbers showing that he was going to be better. Like there was nothing showing like, oh, in the last few
No.
years he's actually been good. He has actually been bad the last few years in
He
Pittsburgh.
has.
And
Yeah,
then they
it
just
was,
thought he was going to come over and play for a worse defensive team and be an all-star. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it was like, oh, maybe a change of scenery, but nah, like the stats are the stats, right? Like either of these guys are not starting goaltenders, in my opinion. But also, you look at the playoff views, and we all know the East right now, how stacked it is and how hard it's going to be to even make the playoffs over there. Then you look at the West. Do you guys think it's time the NHL sits down and goes back to the 1v8 playoff format? As of right now, in the first two rounds, you're eliminating two out of the top three teams in the West there. Like so, Colorado, if you finish the Central one, they're going to get a wild card, obviously. But then you have Dallas and Minnesota as your first round matchup, and arguably those are not arguably they are the three best teams in the West. Do you guys think it's time to switch the playoff format back to 1v8? Donnie.
100%. 100%. This honestly gives me flashbacks to 2018, I believe, when the Winnipeg Jets were they second or first in the league, had to play Nashville in round 2.
Something like that,
Exact
yeah.
same format where I think the Jets ended up winning that series, losing to Vegas in the Western Final, but feels like
Mhm.
that exact same thing where two of the two best teams in the league
Are
are
playing
playing
each other
each other
so
in the
early.
first
Yeah.
3 rounds. I'll throw a controversial take out there. Screw travel costs and proximity from city to city. As a hockey fan, I would love to see like a 1 versus 16 format. Screw the 1 versus 8. Go
I'd be
1 versus
down for it.
16. Mix them all up. Go straight up point percentage, point totals, whatever that the ranking goes. Top in
Mhm.
the league versus last team in the playoffs. Crossover East and West. Kind of saw a little bit of that in the bubble with the North Division. I think
That
the
would be
Habs
like
won the Western Conference that
it
year,
would be
Donnie.
fun.
Right?
There's no way they go through 1 to 16.
It'd be
0% chance.
it'd be so
it's my
fun though.
chaotic hockey fan.
But like
saying that.
imagine
Yeah.
like it'd be so fun. You'd have right your first round, you have Colorado versus Philly. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
let's
Like
take a look at those matchups just
so
quickly.
you'd have Colorado and Philly as your 1 to 16, sorry. Colorado, Utah. My
Yeah.
apologies.
Yeah.
Colorado, Utah. You got Dallas and Philly. You got Carolina and Anaheim. Buffalo and Detroit. Minnie and the Islanders. Tampa and Ottawa. Columbus versus Pittsburgh, and then hey, look, Montreal versus Boston. There you
No,
go,
it's
Gary. You just kidding. You still have your you
yeah, so
would
you still
still
have some East West matchups, right?
it would be fun. I agree. It's never gonna happen, but it should, in my opinion, be hell of fun. Another controversial take that I read earlier today is someone suggested to do like play in rounds, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where
Baseball.
like baseball where you have the play-in rounds first and then
Basketball
you
has it
start
now as
going.
well, right?
Yeah, like a lot of people are looking at that. I think just to start, we go back to the 1 versus 8 at this point. You're still
I
gonna have rivalry matchups. I get people want rivalry, but it's ridiculous in my opinion that our top three teams in the West are gonna verse each other right away, and a team like Edmonton or even Utah are gonna have a more of a cakewalk to the Eastern or Western Conference Final, and then verse a beat down team, basically like a
Yeah.
completely beat down team.
So I saw that this format with the divisions, there's 67% of the games in the first series in the first round go to 6 or more games, whereas when it was 1 to 8, there was only 61%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the argument, against it, right? You're getting longer, better rounds. It's a better. It's just better matchups. There's usually playing these teams a little bit more during the season. There might be a little bit bad blood there.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I don't mind Vegas, Colorado and Dallas and Minnesota all having to play each other. Like the old saying is, you got to beat everyone. And at the end of the day, if you're going to go win the cup, it might take a toll on your team, but if you can get through, say Dallas gets through Minnesota and then they have to go play Colorado and they can get through that, like
And you're
that's
exhausted.
I agree with that, but I also
but those are the two best series that you're going to see this season,
right.
this postseason.
But that's like I also
that's good
agree,
hockey.
though.
I'm here for good hockey. That's what I'm here for.
I agree with that, but I also agree with if you're top 3 in your conference, that there should be some sort of reward for it at the same time too. Like I get both arguments both ways, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But as of right now,
the solution is like we talk about expansion of the league, right? We're at 32 teams. I think the next 2 are coming in to make it 34 within probably the next 5 years. We talk about
probably
Atlanta, Houston, other expansion cities. Maybe you're expanding the playoffs to beyond 8 teams. Maybe you're making that 10. Maybe you're having more like we talk about the first in each division playing a wild card. Maybe you have more of those kind of scenarios as opposed to in division games and coming up with more of a hybrid with more teams making the playoffs, right?
I'd be interested to see if they expand the playoffs. Yeah, like I'd be interested to see they expand the teams. Then you give like whoever your first place team in each conference is maybe just like a bye right to the second round. Like there's a whole bunch of things you can do to really spice things up. I just wonder if I don't know exactly how many years we've had the divisions now, but I wonder if it's time to freshen it up a little bit, basically.
Yeah. It works in cycles, right? So
yeah, exactly.
I just thought it was funny how you mentioned at the beginning how close the race is on kind of both sides now, and it's legitimately the exact opposite. Everyone in the East is like playing up to try and like take grab of that last playoff spot, try to get into those wildcard spots, and the West is the exact opposite. It's like no one wants it.
Right? Everyone's on losing streaks.
They're all trying to lose. They're like, screw this year. We're all gonna go for first overall pick.
Like just for reference, quick, there's 10 teams in the Eastern Conference right now that if placed in the Pacific Division, they would all lead that division ahead of Anaheim.
Oh, yeah.
10 total teams on the east side.
If you go into the whole league, how many of the top 10 league teams in the league right now are from the East compared to the West too? You know what I mean? Like if you go to the overall standings,
7 out of 10.
It's like all the East. You know what I mean? It's insane.
And those 3 are Colorado, Dallas.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So like I don't know. I think it's time to maybe look at a little bit of a change, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Moving on, just do another quick little segment here. Doug Armstrong stepped down as Team Canada's GM this past week here. There's some options. I'm going to list a couple, and then I want you guys to give me who your favorites are. And if you have one that's completely off the books I didn't even mention, then let's hear it. So I got a couple options here. Steve Yzerman from the Red Wings, Jim Neal, Dallas Stars, Kyle Dubas out of Pittsburgh, Julien Brisebois out of Tampa, and Kent Hughes from the Montreal Canadiens. Jordan, who would be your favorite right now, either from those guys or off the books?
Whoever decides to actually put Bedard on the team next time.
whoever decides to pick skilled players and not a bunch of grinders.
Yeah, a bunch of lot grinders and maybe don't take Binnington. I don't know. Honestly, probably Brisebois would be my number one. He's just been very proven in Tampa and what he's done, but all these guys are good options, right?
Yeah.
The person actually that I like, Dubas would be a pretty big wild card to me. I don't really know what he would do. As unpopular opinion this might be, the person on that list that I'd like least want is probably Stevie UI, honestly. And I love Yzerman, but I don't know the way he goes about managing sometimes and builds his teams. I don't know if that's good for best on best.
That's fair, Johnny.
Yeah, I'd probably lean towards Brisebois as well. I think when you're looking at these replacements, you kind of, by default, look at general managers that have won cups, kind of built teams that have got to the top there. Yeah, I think Brisebois would be the best pick. We talk about. I think you had Kent Hughes in there, Dante. I think he's still a little bit too green until the Habs can really build this thing. Which I don't know. Next Olympics is 4 years from now. Maybe the resumes look completely different when it comes time to name a GM. If it's 1 year out from those Olympics or whatever that timeline is, I'm not sure. But right now, you look at Tampa Bay, the success they had with those back-to-back cups, the success they continue to have, as one of the best teams in the East still, even though you think their core is
You know,
declining.
yeah.
They trade Stamkos. They're a team that executes to win. So that would probably be my pick as well.
I'm going Breezewell as well. Like you said, like a team every year for you hear on like these before the season starts, the preseason somehow. Oh, Tampa Bay's probably going to take a step back this year, or a step back, or whatever, and they never do. So Breezewell definitely for me is the one. I would love to see out of all those guys on there. I agree with Jordan Yzerman. He's a big name, but I don't want anything to do with the team, to be honest. But I would like to see if you Breezewell is your GM, and then your assistant GMs. If I could pick one of those, I would go Jim Neal and Kent Hughes, honestly, just for perspective. Like me, Donnie, you know about Kent. He loves his young players and loves to give them the shots. So all three of those guys together, I think, give a very broad view of different ways of building a team, kind of thing, instead of what we had this year, which we all know how that went, basically. And the only other thing I laughed at here, I'm going to read it real quick. It was a comment from Reddit, and the guy on here said, "I would just name Wayne Gretzky. He'll know nothing about what's going on, but at least his name will be associated with the team again." Basically, it's what this guy said. But
The only bad thing about Breezewell is any Canadian that's on Tampa Bay with him and Cooper as the coach is probably going to be on Canada. So,
well, what's the difference?
I'm curious.
So we already had that.
I'm curious.
We already had that this
year
year.
Or not.
I wonder so too. I also, we're not going to talk about it right now, but I wonder who the coach is. It might even be a different coach, like you said, Donnie. We're quite a while out from the next team or next Olympic Team Canada. We'll have to see how it plays out, basically.
As Canadians, let's hope that the Americans stick with Bill Guerin so that they don't have
Cole Caulfield on the team.
That's another team.
Yeah, let's just keep
it worked out fine for them. So
I wouldn't say fine based on that gold medal game. But
I think they got a little lucky that gold medal game. Like, yeah, if you sim that game 1,000 times, Canada wins that freaking game 99% of them. But anyway, whatever. I digress. Let's move on here. All right, we're gonna play a couple of little games with you guys. Little fun games. Some people have seen them on TikTok and everything like that. We're gonna do a blind top 5 game first. You can both chime in together if you want, or I'm gonna say a person's name, and if you want to converse with the other, that's perfectly okay with me. So basically, it's top 5. I'm gonna give you a bunch of players, and you got to rank them from best to worst without knowing who they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let's do it individually. Well, we can chime in as needed, but
all right. So we're gonna start with Donnie first, okay? You're top 5. Your first player, Seth Jarvis.
I have no clue where to go with this, man. It's so tough because it's literally like you're taking one player's name, and I kind of have to gauge since you're not narrowing this down at all. You're not making.
I'm not narrowing. In the future, I'll narrow them down. Right now, completely broad. It could be anybody. Past. It could be McKenna. It could be current. Past, anything. I'm not gonna. This one is gonna be completely broad, and hopefully it screws you guys up a little more.
I'm gonna wing it here. Let's toss the. If we're doing all time, these are all time, so you're not just current players, right?
All time.
I'm gonna toss Seth Jarvis at 4 on my list. I think you're gonna have some like fucking John Scott or something or.
Well, your next player, Donnie, this one will hit at home. Let's see what you rank this guy. One of your favorite players of all time, Andrei Markov.
Oh. Unbiased.
No, I want your biased opinion. I'm just
I think it's tough because you got a player in the middle of his career. Like, are you considering full career trajectory, what they're going to project to be, versus someone that's done? I'm gonna put Markov at 3.
Okay. Oh boy, it's gonna get spicy here. Your next player, someone else that hits home for you, Donnie.
Oh my goodness.
Dale Weiss.
The Dutch Gretzky, what a legend.
The Dutch Gretzky legend. What do you got?
All the habs.
Now you know why I wanted to do this individually for you guys.
You have to put Weiss at 5, man. Just as far the magical moments were unbelievable with him. The overtime goals in the playoffs, that one 2014 run, his fighting with Lucic, but his peak was a blink of an eye.
That's fair.
And then he fizzled out. But I've played against him in Winnipeg. He's still pretty damn good. Don't get me wrong.
Those guys are legends.
But
your next player, You got 1 and 2 left here. You got Wyatt Johnson.
Jarvis should have been 1.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like Johnston's game. I guess I'll have to put him at 2 and just hope you have like Gretzky or some absolute stud.
All
Or
right.
it's gonna be a joke.
Wyatt
Johnson
Johnson
at
is your
2.
2. All right. So that means your number 1 player. Do you want me just to tell you the player right off the hop? You ready for it?
Yeah.
George Peros.
Oh my god.
Number 1 player.
How are
on
you
your
supposed
list.
to forget
6.
this?
Put him at 6.
If we rank this based on
Put him
ability
at
to run,
6.
if we rank this based on ability to run Department of Player Safety, he'd be at 100. We'd make 95 new positions and rank him at the bottom.
The only list that George Peros ranks 1 out of those players is who has a
Best
master's
mustache.
degree, and that's
Best
about
mustache.
it. Well, all right. Next time, don't worry, I will narrow it down. Jordan, you're up next, though. Okay, you've now kind of seen the trajectory of players that could be coming at you. This will be a little different. Okay.
Yeah.
Round 2, Jordan. Your first player is Patrick Kane.
Oh, that's a tough
2.
start.
I'm putting him at 2.
Good.
Patrick
Kane
is
is
at 2.
potentially the best American player of all time. So not putting him 1's hard, but I'm gonna gamble and go 2.
Joke's on you. This
Yeah.
is a list to rate how players treat taxi drivers. And you put him at 2.
Well, number 2 on this
I'm sure you've
player
grown
for
up.
you now, Jordan, is Cale Makar.
Oh,
I think Jordan's going to
Come
start to
on.
see what kind of players he's going to get now, and hopefully it throws him off a little bit here, because Donnie's was kind of more all over the place, and yours right now you got Cale Makar at 2.
Like Makar has the trajectory that he could be like a top 3 defenseman to ever play the game. Like,
yeah.
But
Yeah, 100%.
where he is in his career, oh my god.
He's one of the, he's been the consistent best defenseman every single year in this league for many years now.
Yeah, but there's at least a handful of defensemen alone that I put ahead of him. If you were giving me a list of past,
Mm-hmm. So it's
Yeah,
gonna make it a little tough. I'm not narrowing it down this time.
I would look at Merritt here, Jordan, and probably put him behind Makar would be or Kane.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4. I'm just gonna
hope there's better long-term legacy players.
Yeah.
All right, Jordan, this one's gonna hit home for you now. Okay.
Oh.
Jerome McGinley. Now you guys know why I picked you guys. Like I wanted you individual because I kind of put players in there for you boys.
Iginla's 1, and it's not even a debate. That's the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. He's by far my favorite player to ever play. He's legitimately the reason why I played hockey growing up. Yeah, he's 1, and it's not even close.
All right, your next one. Ready for this one? This one should be hopefully an easier one for you. You got spots 3 and 5 left over, so you've kind of spread it out nice. You got Paul Bissonnette. Is nasty himself.
Does his off ice count?
No. His podcast fame does not count towards this.
I'm gonna put Biz at 5, and I just hope that someone that's at least close to Makar comes up, or else I feel bad putting him 4.
Your last guy, Jordan, not bad of a list here, okay? Number 3, Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, yeah, I'll put Gretzky at 3. That's fine.
There you go. You got Wayne. You got the great one there.
You probably could have put him up higher, but I'm okay.
It's not bad. Jordan, not bad.
Of all time.
Not like he holds every single record possible except for goals now, I guess.
But, yeah, he also played against guys with pillows on their pads that were afraid to go down. So congratulations.
Made a bunch of electricians.
Yeah, Kane would like break that guy's ankles 3 times on one deke. Like, come on.
That's fair. Well, all right, it's not bad. It's good for a first round. Then that's just to get you guys' feet warm. The next time we play this game, they will be in like categories basically. So
my ranking was by far better than Donnie's. Just saying.
Well, Donnie's was a little more difficult as well.
Players, brother.
What I tried to do is I wanted to give Donnie like some difficult ones at the beginning, and then I was hoping that when it came to you, you would be like, "Oh, this could be any." I was trying to get you to put Gretzky at 5, basically. But not bad. All right, we're going to the next fun game here. This one will be a little bit back and forth between you guys. So rapid fire hot takes, basically. So I will cut you off if it goes on for too long. But basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to select either you or Donnie. So for example, let's say I pick Donnie. I'm going to ask him to agree or disagree prior to telling him what the take is. If Donovan says agree, then Jordan, you're automatically disagreeing with the statement. You guys don't know what it is, and then I'm going to tell you the statement, and you can go at it. Make
You have to,
sense?
like, argue for the blind statement in our
Yep,
favor, kind of
basically.
thing.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Ready, roll?
Should run the debate team.
All right. Round one. Donnie, agree or disagree?
I have to hear the question first.
No. Agree or disagree?
I'm gonna say disagree. See where
Yeah.
this takes us.
Donnie, you're disagreeing with the statement. Jordan, you're agreeing with the statement. Round one of the playoffs is better hockey than the Cup Finals. Either one of you guys go. It's either one of you guys go. Donnie, you start us off.
Yeah, like the nature of Stanley Cup playoffs is you eliminate shittier hockey teams as you go, and the two best teams are left at the end. And the stakes of the Stanley Cup final just brings out the best hockey in the world. And like we look at these last few Stanley Cup finals with Edmonton and Florida. Edmonton was down 3-1 in the Cup final, made it 3-3, lost a tight game 7-2-1. I don't think it gets better than the Stanley Cup final.
I like your argument. I do think the Stanley Cup final is good. It's two teams that are supposed to be there. They've battled to get there. My biggest problem with it, it's one game a night, every other night, maybe every third day. First round, you got multiple games. Every night, 3 games a night, 4 games a night. You're able to watch from 6 till 12, 1 o'clock. Every single game is competitive. All these guys are putting everything they have on the line. A lot of the teams are still healthy at that point, so they're not battling with injuries, and you're able to see who wants it more. And I find you get a lot more high intensity games that way.
Sorry, Dante, was the question about the quality of hockey or the quantity?
It just says round one of the playoffs is better hockey than the Cup Finals.
Yeah, I took that one, I think.
I mean, there's no winners or losers here. You know, it's all good.
No, I just
okay, round two. We're gonna go Jordan. Agree or disagree?
I'll agree.
Donnie, you're disagreeing with the statement. Jordan, we're gonna start with your first argument. You're agreeing with McKinnon is a better player than Connor McDavid.
Yeah, okay, I can definitely make this argument. Nate's a better centerman. He's better at faceoffs. His skating is the second to McDavid, so he's right behind him there. I think he has more compete level, higher heart, puts in a higher effort every shift. He doesn't play with probably another top 3 player in the world in Draisaitl. Well, Makar's good, but he's a defenseman. He's not a winger. He's not on the line every single day, and game in, game out, gets to play with him all the time. And I think he honestly makes everyone around him better. And just his compete level and level of that he plays at every single shift is what I give it to him for.
Yeah, I won't even argue the compete level. Like, I think McKinnon has a motor on him that not very many people in the NHL have, not to mention top players. I just think as far as pure talent this game has ever seen, as far as foot speed, ability to operate at that high foot speed and make players look stupid, and distribute the puck, playmaking, IQ, everything. I think McDavid is the most talented NHL player in the history of this game. And I think if you put him back in Gretzky's era, as far as just talent goes,
disgusting.
I think he's blowing Gretzky's records out of the water. I think
so would Patrick Kane.
Oh, I agree. just the level.
According to Jordan's list, 2 people would, Ginla and Kane.
Yeah, the quality of players that are coming out nowadays with the training and just like everything from the grassroots up to being NHL superstars, it's insane how much this game has grown. And as far as the McDavid factor, Like sure he has Draisaitl, and then you often see them kind of split up and playing on different lines. They kind of load that up as needed as a team. But I'd like to see McDavid in it. If you just picked up McKinnon, put McDavid in his spot, like how
Be
different of a
cool to
team that
reverse them.
Colorado team
Yeah.
would be.
Yeah, it'd be
Oh,
cool.
You know, but very
Side
comparable
point,
players.
Nate also has the cup, so saying.
Agreed.
Uh,
Agreed. I think McDavid for sure gets one by the time his career's over.
Side
Might not be
side
in
point.
Edmonton.
Nathan McKinnon missed a wide open net. Just saying. McDavid would never.
McDavid probably would have tried to pass it back.
McDavid just went 1-on-3 in overtime and then turned the
Both garbage. All right.
Yeah.
All right. These next couple ones are going to be probably a little bit quicker because they're complete BS that I made up. All right.
Yeah.
Donnie, agree or disagree?
I'll go agree.
Okay. Jordan, you're disagreeing. Jordan, you're disagreeing with this statement. Jonathan, you're agreeing. Nail Yakupov faked being bad at hockey so he could live a quiet life in Russia away from the spotlight of Edmonton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just see some of the flashes from his rookie year. He scored that overtime winner where he completely cooked it down center ice and did the double knee celly. I don't know, like just the drop off from the first year and the flashes you saw to the rest of his career, it almost feels like you just like he got abducted and replaced with someone else who's never played hockey before, and it's hard to really fathom how a player goes from first overall and such a unanimous pick to where he ended up.
Yeah, I definitely disagree with the statement because I just think he was bad at hockey. He just wasn't good.
Just shit all around.
It's just amazing to me.
Just shit all around.
It's just amazing to me how many scouts got it wrong, right? Like he was like unanimous the first pick in that draft. And
I think that's probably one of the biggest busts.
Maybe it was a lack of just like other talent and they were just looking at a very depleted pool and like, hey, what's the best piece here? You know, but yeah.
No, Donnie, your argument is not on why they did. He is really, really good and decided to go to Russia.
On a side note, have you guys heard the you guys know Arthur Kaliev?
Yeah.
There's some crazy rumors.
We'll keep that for another conversation because that's a future. That's going to be a future hot take. You're talking about how
they think
he replaced with his brother, right? Yeah. Well, that's going to be we're going to do a future episode one day. That's going to be conspiracy theories in the NHL. That's number one on the list. Yeah, we'll go. We're going to go through that one day. Okay, next one. This one's more of a similar or easier one. Jordan, agree or disagree?
I'll agree.
Okay, Donnie, you're disagreeing with the statement of the NHL should allow teams to go over the cap if they can afford the penalty to do so. For example, like NBA can go over, certain teams can spend
MLB.
way more money than other teams, MLB, all that kind of stuff. Jordan, you're agreeing. What do you got?
It's hard because I don't actually agree with it.
No, you agree. You agree. Let's hear it.
As a Blue Jays fan, you have to agree with this, Jordan.
Yeah. I think hockey's just a different sport, and it's hard to keep a lot of your superstar players happy. So I don't think superstar players should count against the cap. Therefore, it should be able to go above cap because they should just be free money since they make your team so much money by selling their jerseys and stuff. So there you go.
Yeah, the economic input is like would be legit, right? You'd have all these superstars just pushing for higher contracts. Look at the money thrown around in the MLB; it would kind of be similar to that. But no, like obviously from a competitive standpoint, you want every club to be relevant.
Yeah,
You look at some of the teams in the MLB that just can't compete, that are in smaller markets, Oakland A's, right? There's teams that just like from a logistical standpoint are not able to build competitive rosters with that kind of structuring of salary cap. So I think having the hard cap, I'm very interested to see how this playoff cap is implemented this year. We talk a little bit about teams already finding loopholes with their salary structure, like e-bug like third string goalies being dressed over backup goalies to save that little difference in salary between those two goalies. If Vegas makes the playoffs, you never know what they're going to pull off, right? Mark Stone's already on IR, ready
they're
to go.
Not ice a whole. They're going to not ice their entire fourth line and then just have everyone else up front loaded, like
or teams just not icing a full roster. Like, is that also possible? Like if you don't want
from
a
what
fourth
I've
line, to your
read,
point.
yeah, like from what I read, there is no the requirements are very low for what you're supposed to dress every night. You could technically get away with not dressing
9
one or two
forwards. Like you just
players.
dress
Yeah,
9 forwards and
you could get away
You
for just like how in the
Yeah.
international you can dress an extra one.
Yeah.
The NHL they don't actually specify like if you don't need to dress up to that amount of
They
players.
thought
So
good
it'll be
teams like
interesting.
Edmonton. They thought good teams like Edmonton would actually just go like 6D and only 11 forwards, and just so you can double shift Draisaitl, McDavid, stuff like
or
that.
just
That's
don't
kind of
dress
what.
Who needs a
Yeah.
goalie? Just go 6
I
forwards
would
out there the
dress.
whole time.
I mean, they pretty much
If
play
I
without
was
a goalie
Edmonton,
now anyway. So
yeah,
Yeah.
if I was Edmonton, I'm dressing neither goalie, and I'm just telling a defender to sit in front of the net. All right. The next one, once again, a little bit out of there. Donnie, agree or disagree?
I'll disagree this one.
Okay, Jordan, you're agreeing. If a goalie takes a penalty, they should have to serve it, and the backup must play.
100%. I think that is awesome. I think that if a goalie wants to get in there and mix it up, I think that the backup should have to come into the net cold and punish your team and have to try and kill this penalty off and maybe get hurt. But that's on your buddy goaltending tandem, and that's his
the
fault.
risk.
Yeah, if he wants to go out and be a Superman and get into the scrums, that's on him. The only time I think the goalie shouldn't serve his own penalty is if it's a goalie on goalie fight, because I want to promote those and I want those in the game still.
What happens if your backup gets a penalty too?
Then you have to put a player in it.
Get that emergency backup goalie from the
Yep.
stands immediately.
Yeah.
No, then you're putting a player in there, or you're playing with no goalie. Good luck on that penalty kill.
5 on 4.
It's a 5 on.
No goalie.
It's a 5 on 3, basically no goalie. Donnie,
Yeah, I'm gonna switch my answer to agree on this one and agree with Jordan.
No, you can't switch it.
I think it would be chaotic and good for the game, and encourage more goalies to fight. Like to your point,
one of the funny things about this is if it did ever happen, which we both know, well, all three of us know it's never gonna happen.
No.
But if your starting goalie takes a penalty, let's say for a 2-minute delay of game, and he goes and serves that penalty, and your backup comes in, the goalie then at the end of the 2 minutes, he's a player on the ice. He's got to get out there and defend with pads and all. No, he's at the blue line, or go for a breakaway all the way down the ice.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
So this next one is another little fun one as well, kind of similar to the last one. Jordan, do you agree or disagree with this?
I'll disagree.
Oh, poor take. Johnny, you're going to agree
with everything. So,
all right. So we all talk about 3-on-3 and then shootouts. Okay, if a game ends in a tie, it goes to continuous 3-on-3 pond hockey style. No offsides, no icings. Goalie can play outside the trapezoid. There are no rules besides intent to injure and goalie interference. So basically,
no penalties, no tripping calls.
There's no penalties. It's just the only two penalties that there would be is an intent to injure a player or goalie interference, or else you just have everyone tackling the goaltender out of the net. So it's 3-on-3. There's no rules besides intent to injure and goalie interference. Jordan, you're disagreeing with this. Donnie, you're agreeing with it. Good luck. Jordan's an easy one, probably.
Donnie, you want to try and
go
first?
Yeah, I'll go first there. I think this is probably tied to the rumors that we've heard recently of the UFC NHL crossover event. Both leagues kind of crossing over. There's going to be UFC fighters joining the NHL, and vice versa. Just making the game better, right? Kind of.
Jordan's face right now is priceless. Oh, I wish you guys
we'll accumulate both fan bases. Like the revenue will be double for each thing, and yeah, we'll just get to the point of like actually having like a hybrid sport here, where everything can happen. Fans don't know what's going to happen, and
except majority of them probably can't skate.
Dana White is a great hockey player.
You don't think Conor McGregor can skate with the best of them, Jordan? Probably out there slicing people up. Brock Lesnar. Suplex City on the ice.
Obviously, the disagree with this is the superior take. There has to be structure in hockey, and like if we were to argue like just continuous 3-on-3 instead of going to a shootout, it'd be a hard thing to argue. Yeah. but there has to be structure to not have offsides, to not have penalties. Like that's just caveman bush league stuff. Like the best players aren't even
pond
on the
hockey,
ice. No, like,
yeah, exactly.
Like McDavid and Draisaitl will just go to the dressing room, give us our 1 point. I'm not getting injured because they put AJ Greer out to come hit me from behind.
AJ Greer would be the best player in the league.
Technically, that would fall under the intent to injure category, Jordan. So they would still get a penalty for that.
No, I don't think so.
So no intent there.
If Peros is in charge of player safety still, then there's going to be a lot of
issues. If there's intent to injure, it'd be more than a 3-game penalty when you have like 20 pounds on a kid, and have them off balance from behind.
This does sound like something the Saudis could invest in and develop as a sport, though.
Well, they're actually You guys watched the movie Goon, obviously. Shout out to Goon, great. Well, and remember that little there's a little clip where all the old rundown fighters are in just like a league where it's just fighting. Basically, they each start at the other end of the ice and they meet in the middle, and all they do is fight the whole time. Now that would be, if you have all your injured players, they should do that at the end of the game. You get to pick, if it's instead of a shootout, each team picks a fighter to go to center ice, and the winner wins the game.
Brian Reese still somehow wouldn't drop his gloves. Tough guy in the league, but never drops his gloves. That's interesting.
Well, it's Ryan Reese for you. All right, boys. We're gonna do this again one day as well for the hot takes and for some top 5 rankings. But we'll end off with some final thoughts. Donnie, anything? Could be about anything.
Kind of reminded me when we were talking about the no penalties and everything, but the PWHL game, there was a season game here in Winnipeg on the weekend. Sounds like the turnout was really good between Montreal and Ottawa. And one rule that I'd like to see implemented in the NHL that they've recently adopted is they call it a jailbreak goal. And if you're shorthanded and you score a shorthanded goal, your penalty immediately ends. Yeah. And all 4 players go in celly in front of the penalty box, open the door. That player comes out and sellies with their team. I feel like that would be a really cool kind of incentive for teams to create offense shorthanded in the NHL, and would be that kind of low impact move that the league could make to just add a bit of excitement without really kind of changing structure and just awarding teams, right, that are excel shorthanded.
Jordan, final thoughts?
My final thought's more of a question to you guys. Do you guys have any idea what goaltender interference is right now?
Nope, and neither does the NHL.
Okay.
No, man. What this league needs is they need to issue a set of videos clearly defining goaltender interference in all of these different situations. And like honestly, at the end of the day, I think the ambiguity around goalie interference is a strategy the league wants. Right? We talk about flipping a coin, and every given instant, one night an identical goal will be a goal. The next night it's not, and it's just fully up to the situation team at the time, right? But it just feels like if the league wanted to handle this and get rid of this issue of the question of what is goalie interference, they easily could by just defining it more, right? And then kind of creating a learning module for fans, executives, and organizations to review. But it's ignorance.
I feel like, and a lot of leagues have this, but this is one of the big rules for hockey that is just up to the ref's decision. It's not going to be the same every single night. It's just if they want to call it goal interference this night, sure, we're going to call it. If we don't, no, it's a good goal, right? This team's down by a couple and there's a little bit of contact. It's fine. Let's just make this a closer game and more entertaining, right? Like it feels like there's no consistency call to call. You could have the exact same thing happen twice in the same game. They're going to be called different ways, which is such a head scratcher. I think they just need to go to the IIHF rule on this, where pretty much any contact with a goalie inside the crease, you touch the goalie at all inside his crease, it's no goal. Simple as that.
That's fair.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's not quite the Brett Hull, like no foot in the crease rule, but any kind of contact at all. Yeah, that would be a good rule.
So my hot take, it's something that not really hot. Sorry, not hot take. Final thought. We've been talking about this all week. Player safety has been a joke lately with some of the decisions and suspensions. So as we're talking tonight, Pierre-Luc Dubois was issued a match penalty for intent to injure Robert Thomas. So it's an automatic per NHL Rule 21, automatic suspension pending review of the NHL. Thomas also received a 2-minute minor for interference on the play. And as I watch this play, I am very curious to see what Kurt Angle does because Kurt Angle's the guy. I'm very interested to see what George Peros does.
Kurt Angle?
So basically,
where did you get that?
I'm reading the comments section right now where he just jumped him from. Kurt Angle is famous for jumping people from behind and just throwing them on the ground, basically. But he basically suplexed this guy. He suplexes Robert Thomas to the ground, basically, grabs him from behind and just straight up turns around and slams him face first into the ice. Like,
so I haven't seen the play, but knowing George Peros, this is going to be a $5,000 fine.
If this isn't more than 5 games, the player safety is just completely lost. We talked about this week about how the NHLPA, I think it was asking for a full review, all that kind of stuff. Like George Peros needs to go because, like Jordan's mentioned last podcast, the NHL does a terrible job of protecting its stars. And yeah, this is when you get to see this, Jordan. We'll weigh into it maybe next podcast on whatever the fine or whatever the punishment is, but will be interesting to see.
Yeah, I touched on the Zari hit a bit. Like that was one of the dirtiest hits I've honestly ever seen. They go shoulder on shoulder, top of the circle. Zari's off balance as they turn into the corner, and Greer's clearly behind him. Like there's no chance he's getting to his shoulder or anything, and decides to 2-hand push him in the back into the boards from 4 feet away, where he then spikes his head into the boards and instantly grabs his neck. Like my first thought was this guy could be paralyzed. And all that comes from it is a 3-game suspension because they don't want to do an in-person hearing and fly him out and actually have real discipline on this. It's honestly a joke. And if they don't want to actually go that step so that they give too many games, as they say, so that they can appeal it and get it brought back, then they need to put someone else in there who isn't afraid of that, because I would much rather you give a guy 7 games and it get appealed and brought back to 5 than give him 3 when everyone thinks it should have been 5.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah. I was listening to 32 Thoughts. I just got a few points here. I'm just watching the video over, Dante. So apparently the NHL is very against appeal processes. They don't want to go down this path of having teams scrutinize their calls. They would rather have the right call issued at the initial point and not have an appeal process. To your point, Jordan, I think that's the backwards way of looking at it. I think giving George Peros kind of the run of the litter here and just his call to make any decision on suspensions without anyone challenging it isn't the right way to go. But yeah, that play by AJ Greer, I don't know. You can honestly see the decision making happening in the moment.
Yeah.
He's looking right at the numbers, decides to push him right in the back. That's as blatant an intent to injury as you can get.
That play was worse than the knee on Matthews to me.
Oh, 100%. I agree. It should have been. It should have. I think 6-7 games was kind of the sweet spot for that he should have realistically got. But this Pierre-Luc Dubois play, Dante, I'm looking at this a little bit more. The takedown is egregious. Once they kind of contact each other and it's a wrestling move takedown.
But, it is a takedown.
But at the same time, you have Robert, this is a power play for, or is it 5-on-5? Power play for St. Louis already. And you kind of have Robert Thomas backing in there already, kind of initiating the contact with Dubois. Dubois trying to follow the guy with the puck. So I could also see George Peros look at that, blame Thomas, and suspend Thomas and Dubois.
But how do you? I get it, but how do you he's just gliding back probably into where he sits on the power play. They have possession, you know what I mean? He's just gliding back, and he just gets taken down. His face slammed into the ice.
Sorry, quickly on the AJ Greer, to your point there, Jordan, too. You look at past history of players, AJ Greer has a rap sheet as long as my arm on past suspensions and fines as well. So I think the book should have been thrown at him. It was obviously way too light. And yeah, I think so it did sound like this offseason the NHLPA and the NHL are going to be renegotiating Department of Player Safety and looking at head safety in a little bit more detail. But it does sound like that conversation and the push needs to come from the players, the player association. If they get enough players that speak up and kind of talk about it in these meetings, then it'll get dealt with. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll dive into this in a further podcast. We'll go into, maybe we'll do a whole one just literally reviewing some of these decisions in the past year and dissect them and stuff like that. So we'll dive into this again a little bit later on. Boys, thank you guys for joining me again today. Thank everyone who listened, like, subscribe for more, and we will be back with another podcast hopefully soon in the future. Thanks, boys. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Thank you.